Okay, so the drawing we're going to be drawing today is this letter H drawing. On this letter H drawing, we're actually going to start drawing it from the front view. We're going to draw this L-shaped piece here in the front view, and then moving on drawing the other parts of this. So, to get started on this, we're going to go to CAD. The first step we're going to do is we're going to change to our front view. So we're going to come over here in this top left corner and change to our front view. And we're going to start drawing this. All right. To draw this, I'm going to use the line command. I'm going to start it just anywhere out there on the screen. I'm going to draw a line 2 inches to the left, or sorry, to the right. Then I'm going to draw a line 3 inches up, 3 inches over, and 1 inch up. I know I did that pretty quickly. I'll add you some dimensions here in just 1 second for that. And we're going to finish that off just like that. So again, to recap, that was 2 inches over, come on, computer, work with me, 3 inches up, 3 inches over, and then 1 inch up. Okay, so now, once we have this shape drawn, we want to go ahead and make this a solid. To make it a solid, remember, right now, this thing is all individual lines. We have to region this together to make it a solid, as the next step at least. So we're going to go REG for region. We're going to pick around our whole object. And now this thing is all one object. At this point is usually where I turn my conceptual view on. And I can see that is all shaded, and that is a nice... Whoa, I clicked on my wrong button down there. Sorry about that. We can see that is a nice 2D plane. Okay. So again, that was regioning it. Now we're going to go ahead and extrude this. And we're going to extrude this at 0.5. Okay, so with this, that has this portion of the drawing finished. Now, let's look back at our actual handout. So on our handout, next, we're going to put in this cylinder here. So to put that cylinder in, what view do you think I'd draw that cylinder from? Top. So we need to come over here and we need to change to our top view. Okay, now when you're on your top view, you can hit in the cylinder command, CYL, and you can draw your cylinder over here. And again, I always suggest drawing it to the side. Once you get more familiar with things, connecting it onto points and all that is an okay thing, but I suggest drawing it over here to make it just easier for yourself. I'm going to make this cylinder a diameter, so I'm going to hit D for diameter of 2, and I'm going to make it 0.75 thick. I almost said the wrong number there. 0.75 thick. I'll twist this a little bit up in 3D so you can see what we got. So I got the cylinder diameter 2, 0.75 thick. Now, as you're working there and getting that, I'm going to show you a couple other little tiny tidbits here. So I'm going to change this to a different view. You don't need to do this part. So now, with this, when I draw my cylinder, if I'm on a wrong view and I draw my cylinder is going to point out on that wrong side. So you got to make sure that your cylinder is rotated that correct position, and that's why you're adding this to the top view. Okay, hopefully at this point everybody's got your cylinder drawn.
Wait, can you tell me the dimensions?
Okay, so now we have to move this thing into place. So I'm going to go M for move. I'm going to select my object, which is my cylinder. I'm going to hit enter. When I move it, I'm going to move it from this top quadrant right here. If your quadrant is not appearing, then you need to go down over here to your O snaps and make sure you have quadrant selected. If your quadrant is appearing, you're going to attach right there to that quadrant on the top of the circle, top surface of it, and then you're going to move it right here to that end point. So that back surface of it back there, that back end point, click right there, and move that to there. Okay, so now, what I want to do next is, I've said this before, but I want to make this look nice. I want to make it pretty. So to make it look pretty, let's change up the colors. Don't just leave it all white. So let's change this portion of it. I'm going to select it with grips there. And I'm going to be on my home tab. And make sure, come over here, and I'm going to change this to a different color. Sure, yellow. Yellow is beautiful. Then I'm going to select this portion of it. I'm going to change it to some other contrasting color. Sure, cyan. That's beautiful also. So now I have those two different colors on there. Now I need to put it together. So I'm going to union this, U-N-I for union. And I'm going to union this thing together. Notice how it picked to change this whole top surface to white, or sorry, white to yellow, and that's just great. So go ahead and get that put together. Okay, so now with this, all of our positive features are created. So everything that has volume has been created. Now we need to start taking away our negative features. Well, our first negative feature is going to be this hole. So to do that hole, right now my Z is pointing out my top surface, so that's good. When I draw my cylinder, it's going to be pointing straight up, which is good. And I can go ahead and put this in a place right over here on the object. So I'm going to go CYL for cylinder. If I hover over this top surface, notice that, or not top surface, sorry. If I hover over top of this edge, notice that dot appears there. I can pick the center point of that. If I come out there and it's not showing up like now, oh, I can't pick the center of it. Just go to the edge of the circle. Now I can select the center point of that. So I'm going to select the center point there. Oh, that's weird. I don't know what plane I've got. I'm going to see what mine looks like here. I'm going to hit a diameter of 1 and draw this cylinder. I did not get the center point picked. I must have got the end point picked over there. So I'm going to try mine again. I kind of failed. So CYL, cylinder. There I've got the center point. Well, what am I getting the center point of? Okay, I got the right center point that time. All right, so again, I'm going to do a diameter of 1. And now with this, I just make sure I pull it through the object. I'm on that top surface, so I just pull it down and through. As long as it goes through it, I'm good. If I make it too short, it's harder to select, so I just pull it way down there where I can select it easily. From there, we're going to go ahead and change that color up to some other alternating color. And we're going to go subtract and subtract it. Again, to subtract, that is SU, enter. We're going to pick our large object, this large solid we have out there. We're going to hit enter, select the cylinder, and enter one more time, and that subtracts that out. Okay, so next, what we're going to do is next, I need to take out the hole out of this portion of it. That hole there, it is a slot. So let's go ahead and draw that in there. So first off, for our slot, I need to put a layout line in there. I'm going to put a line on this top surface of it. Now notice now, my Z is pointing out the top. But I do have my dynamic UCS turned on. It's this little thing over here. It looks like the little lightning bolt. It's a UCS with a little lightning bolt on it. So with that, my Z is pointing up. But if I come out here, I highlight that surface, it automatically changes my UCS to this orientation. So now I can draw a line to that midpoint of that side there, and I'm actually going to be on this surface. With this, our layout line needs to come up 1 inch. If your little dynamic UCS is not showing up, you may not have it turned on. Remember, that's the 3 little lines over here. You can click on it and make sure your dynamic UCS has a check mark on it to turn it on. And then if it's highlighted blue, it actually is turned on and functioning. All right. With that layout line there, we're going to draw a circle connected on the end of that line. And we're going to make that circle a diameter of 0.75. And I'm going to pause. All right. So now, next, we need to take this circle. We need to copy it straight up 1 inch. If you're having trouble selecting that here, what you can do is you can go ahead and change this to a wireframe view, and it makes it much easier to select things. So I'm going to go copy, select that circle, and copy it straight up 1 inch. Oops, make sure you're going straight. Right there, I'm locked in a straight, and 1 inch copied straight up. Once that's copied up there straight above, you're going to go with the line command. You're going to attach a line onto this quadrant of the circle right there to that quadrant. From this quadrant to that quadrant. This is also a place where having that turn to a wireframe view helps out a lot. It makes it a little bit easier to trim these circles out. So I'm going to go trim and just trim out those 2 lines. And that's looking great right there. I'll pause there for a moment. Okay, so from here, you need to region that object again. So we're going to region that slot. Once it's regioned, we're going to extrude it. And you're going to extrude it through your object. Now, here, with mine being on a wireframe, it's kind of hard to tell which surface I'm on and where I'm at if I don't remember. So I really suggest going back to your conceptual view and extruding this. So extrude, select it, and just make sure you pull it through the object. I just always pull it plenty far through, like so. Then now we need to subtract it. Do remember, if yours is boring white, change it up to a different color before you subtract it. Mine's already magenta, so mine's beautiful. And I'm going to go ahead and go subtract. SU, enter, select the large object, enter, and select your slot and subtract it out. And it should look beautiful like that. Okay, so at this point, all of our negative features are now finished. I have the hole through there, I have the slot through there, and so now what's left is our fillets and rounds. So for our third step, we first did our positive features, which was the L and the cylinder. Our negative features, the circular hole and the slot. Now we're going to do our fillets and rounds. So looking at this drawing, I have a little tiny fillet here, a little tiny fillet here, and I'm going to have a little tiny one underneath here that I can't see. I'm also going to have this corner filleted and then this whole end of it filleted. So we have some fillets to do. Let's go back to our CAD drawing and do that. All right, to do a fillet, our first fillet we're going to do is I'm going to spin this drawing around a little bit. So I look at this little line right here that is the kind of the corner of that L. To do a fillet, you're going to hit F, enter for fillet. Then when you select it, when you're doing a solid, fillet is a little bit different. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. Notice my little square pick box there. I'm going to pick anywhere on this line. Don't pick it right here on the corner because then you don't know if you're getting this line, or this line. But anywhere out here in the middle of this line, click on it. It should highlight it blue when you do that. So there you see the little blue highlight. And now it's asking for the expression. Just type in the amount you want to fillet, which is 0.25. And hit enter once and enter again. And it fillets and rounds that. Now notice what this did is my fillet was made magenta. Notice the color I have selected is magenta. So we'll fillet it to whatever color that you have currently selected. As you're doing all of our fillets here in the little next few minutes, I want you to change up the color and make at least 2 different colors of fillets, just so I know that you know how to do that. All right, so for this next one, I changed my color to a different color, changed it to orange. We're going to repeat the fillet command by going F, enter for fillet. This time I'm going to fillet this corner here. That's the corner we can't really see in the drawing. I'm going to fillet that corner there. I'm going to keep it the same size at 0.25 inch. It's already on the screen at 0.25 inch down here. So I'm just going to hit enter once and enter twice. And it fillets that corner at the 0.25 in orange. Okay, so now we have one more 1/4 inch fillet we're going to do on this. So we're going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to rotate this thing around. And it's going to be this inside corner right here. So again, this inside corner right here, we're just going to repeat the fillet command, F for fillet. Pick that corner. Oh, I should change this up to a different color though. Let me see, I'm going to go green this one. And enter. And there we go. That one's filleted. All right, so next, we have 2 more fillets left, or actually 3. We have this corner to fillet and this bottom of it to fillet. Let's start off with doing this one up here. So I'm going to go F for fillet. I'm going to select this corner here. Notice where my cursor is, that corner there. And this one, it's going to be a lot larger fillet. We're actually going to make this 1.5. So 1.5 and hit enter. And enter again. And it fillets and rounds that off as that great big corner there. Okay, now once again, we need to round this portion of it off. Now if you remember, this thing was 2 inches across. So we're going to do a 1-inch fillet on each of these 2 corners, which will round this off just nicely down here. I'm going to go ahead and change my color up to a different color, and I'm going to fillet that. So I'm going to come down here, I'm going to fillet this corner here, and I'm going to fillet that at 1, and I'm going to rotate it around and fillet this corner at 1 also. And that has that thing looking really nice. Okay, so now, what we want to do is I want you to put this into the right orientation. So I want this front view looking out over here on this left side and the right side view being on the right side. I want it to be in the correct orientation. The easiest way to do that in CAD is to first go to your top view, so your named top view, and then click on one of the corners of your cube up here. I just start clicking on a random corner. All right, that one. That is not the correct corner. If you click on this corner here, it will rotate it 90 degrees at a time until you're in the right orientation. This is the beautiful orientation. You're going to do a screenshot of it there, and submit that. And that'll be great.